What is up, Nerd Nation? Today's video, I am going to a video game store near me. There's honestly none in Kansas City. About 30 minutes away, it's in Lawrence. It's called Game Nut. They actually have two locations. I have shopped at both of them many times, and they are great locations, but they are both moving, and they are doing a moving sale. I think only one of them is doing a moving sale right now. I was just at the other one like 2 weeks ago, so I'm probably not going to go back there today. But because they're doing a moving sale, I'm sure they have some kind of discount. I don't know if it's like 10 to 20%. I was here like a month ago. I didn't have very much time, so I didn't get to really go through it, but they were doing 10% now, so I'd assume it's probably more than that. But they are in the process of moving, and they're going to get a lot bigger locations so they can have more games, and they do a lot more. So they have like anime and movies and cards. We're going to take a look inside. I'm going to be looking to see if I can find some pretty underpriced games. Hopefully the discount will help me. It will help me, but hopefully it'll help find some extra games that I may not normally pick up. But yeah, so let's roll into that. So right here, what you guys will see is I am currently going through the PlayStation section, kind of looking for those underpriced video games. So for example, I find Colony Wars right here. This is a game that paid $19.99 before the discount, and it sells for $59.99 on Amazon. So I'm not going to list off every single game that I find and what it sells for, or what I paid for it, but typically what I'm doing is, I've looked at enough video games at this point that I can kind of have a general idea if it's going to be undervalued or if it's going to have a lot higher value on Amazon. Typically, if I've seen the same game over and over and over again, a lot of times it doesn't really have a whole lot of value. An example would be like sports games or just games like Call of Duty that are just super mass produced. So right here I found Overkill. This is $12.99 and it currently sells for about $59.99 on Amazon. One thing that I have kind of found is PlayStation games typically tend to be a lot more undervalued, so I spend a lot more time looking through all the PlayStation games, and then after that a lot of PlayStation 2 games. Those are kind of the two that I think I spend the most time looking at. I do find a lot more within Xbox and Xbox 360, but a lot of times the Xbox and Xbox 360 stuff doesn't sell as fast as like PlayStation 2, for example. One thing you guys might notice is I pretty much go through the entire row, and that's what I'm going to do for every single one of these rows. It may seem very tedious, but after you've done this for a while, you kind of know those games that you're looking for, and a lot of times you're going to find the same games over and over again that are underpriced at all the game stores that you go to. So eventually, after you've looked at enough games, you kind of know what you're looking for. You're always looking for kind of those oddball titles that you haven't seen before, and then honestly, a lot of times, once you've looked up a game, you kind of remember like, this game wasn't worth very much this time, so I'm probably not going to scan it again. And yeah, I definitely miss games, but that's just part of it. I would say typically when I go to a video game store, depending on the size, I'm probably going to spend about an hour in there scanning games. Sometimes if they're a little bit bigger, I've spent 2 to 3 hours. Just kind of depends on how big the store is, how busy they are, and how long it takes them to find the games. One thing that's nice about shopping at Game Nut is they've been open for many years, so they have a pretty good system on how they store games, how to find them, things like that. Here you guys can see that I'm starting to pick up some 007 games. I've been picking up a lot of 007 games, but I do think that I'm gonna slow it down just a little bit. They're not moving super fast, and I have like almost every copy of every 007 available currently on my Amazon store, so I do think that they're good value and they are undervalued, but they're not selling as quick as I want, so I'm probably not going to be buying as many of these in the future. So here you guys can see that I grabbed Backyard Wrestling for the Xbox. I also grabbed the same game for the PlayStation 2 earlier, One thing that I've kind of found is if a game is undervalued or worth more on one console, a lot of the times it is for another console. So that's kind of where I bank some of that knowledge as well. Is like, okay, I saw Backyard Wrestling is selling for $40 on PlayStation 2. It's probably selling for about that much on Xbox. It's not 100% accurate, and I don't think it's actually selling for $40. It's probably like a $24 game, but that's kind of like how I'm able to build up a bank of like random games that have value. With all the games that I ended up buying, I think they weren't able to find one game, and they called the other store in town and they also didn't have a copy, which is funny because I actually think I may have purchased that same game from the other store. But overall, like, not being able to find one game is pretty good, so I was pretty happy with that. I'm super nostalgic for GameCube games. Unfortunately, most game stores, they have a very, very low selection. GameNut is included in that. Typically what it is that they just sell super fast. They go in one day and they're literally out the next. Especially for some of the more popular titles like Mario games, Metroid, Smash, a lot of those games, they just come in and immediately sell the next day. Probably noticed, so in this video, pretty much I'm only looking at PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, GameCube, and PlayStation games. They, like I said, are in the process of moving, and that's why they're doing this sale. And they've already moved out the PS4, I think PS3, and the Xbox One games. So they had a lot smaller selection that I was able to go through today, but a lot of great buys. So right here you guys will see this is Leisure Suit Larry for the PlayStation 2, and it is one of the weirdest games, and it is very inappropriate, but I have found this a couple of times and it is almost always underpriced, but it's a little uncommon. Here's a clip of what that game looks like.
Wow, how fancy. Ain't you sweet? So, I want to hear all about you.
So right here I'm finishing up going through the rest of the PlayStation 2 games, and one thing I was definitely not prepared for was the owner actually came up to me and had some questions, so we'll get into that in just a second.
What are we filming here?
Say what?
What are we filming?
Video game hunting.
Okay. So what are you filming now exactly?
So I'm looking for games that I'm gonna add to my collection or flip.
That are more valuable. Yeah, I understand that part. But why are you filming it though?
It's for my YouTube.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm a little bit newer to the filming side, but the buying the games and everything I've been doing for quite a while.
Sure.
But yeah.
That's what I do every day, so I understand.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
That's how all this got started.
Yeah, because I bought some at the Mass Street location too. But it's fun. I love the hunt.
Sure.
It's the best part of it. Hey guys, so all done in the store. It was a great experience. Every time I've gone to GameNut, I've had a good experience. And I do have to tell y'all, kind of two different things. One, there should have been a clip of the owner talking to me. I was super nervous about it because I thought maybe he was gonna ask me to stop recording. I think he was just more curious. Since he is the owner, he may have been wondering if he was gonna get any kind of good or bad publicity. Obviously, it's not really either, just more like me buying games in his store because they have pretty good prices. But the other thing is I opened my mouth and I wish I hadn't. It's fine, but so I'm up front, I'm checking out. My total was like 500 something, but he's like, yeah, and so with the 30% discount, you are looking at 500 something. And I got really excited because I was like, oh, it's 30%. I thought it was 20. I was like, that's awesome. And then I kind of see the owner kind of spin around, gives the cashier like a look, and then you see him kind of get a little flustered, and he realizes I'm not supposed to be getting a 30%. It's supposed to be 20%. That's the sale they're doing right now. They weren't doing an additional sale. I mean, the owner knows I'm going to be selling most of these games. He's like, he's already getting a good enough deal. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but it's okay. It's a great business. Highly recommend you guys check out Game Nut. Could have saved probably about $60. My total ended up being $636, but it's okay. I came here because I knew they had some kind of discount, and it just made the shopping experience even better. 30% would have been great, but happy with the 20. All right, so I'm gonna go home and then I'm gonna process all of this. And once I'm done with that, I'll give you guys kind of a breakdown of what I spent, what I think I'm gonna profit, and then maybe some of my bad buys if I bought any. Hopefully I didn't buy a whole lot of games today. I think probably like 30, maybe 40 games. I'll let you guys know, and I'll see you in a second. All right, y'all, so I just got done processing all the games that I picked up at Game Nut. It was actually a couple days ago. Overall, I did really well. I would say, I think all of the GameCube games were bad buys, so would recommend not taking any of the advice on those. And then after that, I think there were probably like 2 or 3 other games that were like not great buys. I will try and make sure to note them within the video, so hopefully you already kind of knew that. Would not recommend picking up the GameCube games, but I do think I'm going to end up keeping some of them and trying to grow the GameCube collection just a little bit. So I'm okay with that because ultimately I can still sell them at some point and make a little bit of profit, but I can play them for now as well. Overall, did really well. So this is kind of what it looks like within Exceller list. So right here, you'll see a total buy cost of $708. That's not actually accurate. I put everything in before the discount and before taxes. Basically what that comes out to would be about a 10% off. So I went ahead and just calculated that real quick. So my total spend was $636.89, and you can see with a 10% discount, we're looking at $637. And then if you take the net profit right here, the $780, what you will do is 637.60. We'll subtract that, so 70.90. So what I'll do is I'll just add that to the net profit listed right here, and we are looking at about $851 profit off of spending $636. So probably what, 120% return, which is pretty awesome with me. Totally acceptable. I try to at least double up whenever I buy things. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. As you can see, if you are an Amazon seller, you can definitely go to game stores. Maybe not GameStop. GameStop is pretty much retail. Even on their new stuff or on used stuff, they only take off like 10%. So maybe not that, but like other game stores in the area, you can definitely shop at and you can find inventory to send in. My average sales rank on all of this is 57,000. I try and be under 50, but honestly, when I find a lot of good things that I'm going to profit quite a bit, I don't mind holding on to it a little bit longer. So overall, very good experience. Highly recommend Game Nut. If you are interested in selling video games or anything like that, definitely become an Amazon seller, because then you don't have to find those dirt cheap games. You can still pay up a little bit and still make some good money. So definitely a good experience. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Let me know what you thought of the format and everything like that. But that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit all the buttons, comment. Let me know what, like I said, let me know what you guys thought of the format, and I'll catch you guys in another one. All right, bye.